the point I'm making is you have to see yourself as the CEO of YOU.
Right.
If you're the CEO of YOU Incorporated, the question you need to ask yourself today is, forget your employer, forget your coach.
Come on.
Would you hire or fire yourself?
Wow.
Based upon the performance and the things you are accomplishing and creating in the job you have now.
Wow. Welcome back to Aspire Higher with Charles and Yvana. We hope that you're enjoying everything that you've seen so far and listened to. And please subscribe to our channel, like the episodes, download them, and share them with your friends, your colleagues, your boss. Share them with your kids. I don't know, just share them, okay?
Go share crazy.
That's a good one. But it's such an honor to be back. We're going to talk about some real good stuff in this episode, especially about the vision for your position.
Vision for your position.
And that position could be in life. It could be literally in your position at your job. Yeah. But we're going to talk about it and hopefully give you some good tidbits that you could take away. And also it can help propel your life, your business, or your sport.
Yeah. Well, also make sure that you follow us personally. We love getting the interactions. So my handle on Instagram, that's where I primarily live, is Charles L. Bailey. JR. And Yvana?
Yes, mine is YVANAHB. Yvana HB.
All right. Well, first of all, before I start, I have to tell you look amazing.
Thanks.
I mean, you look incredible, like a pot of gold.
A pot of gold. I feel like a pot of gold.
Well, you always
I just made this outfit up too, so it's kind of fun.
Confidence coaches, all
That's
this
it.
stylists.
Wear colors
you guys
loudly,
are
unashamed.
Incredible, man. Mm-hmm. Well, this topic is incredibly on time, I will say, because we are in an era of what people are speaking about, maybe even experiencing. I would guarantee you that most people right now in our audience are feeling this to some degree or seeing it, and it's called quiet quitting. You ever heard of this?
I have.
Yeah, quiet quitting.
Yeah.
Well, it is because you feel kind of hopeless to some degree in the position that you're in. Right. What's happening is there's this place where people are not giving who they are, the fullness of who they are.
Okay. In
their position,
Makes
right?
sense.
They're just completing the bare minimums, never going above and beyond, right? Some of it is valid because there are opportunities that people are in where they're taking advantage of, right? But that's not the case. That's not the case with what we're talking about right now.
That's right.
But then there are also opportunities that people get, and once they get them, they stop performing. And so we want to help encourage some people here. Yes. And if you're someone who doesn't think this is you, I would just say stick around, because as we talk through this, you might find yourself in some of these places. Yeah. So we're talking about the vision for your position. A lot of people get jobs and they're not seeing their position as an active part of what they're meant to do, right? I look at my life, going back over the years, everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, every position I held, the ones I had to literally resign from, those were all stepping points and tools and places where I grew. Yeah. You know, I was challenged in some areas. I was hurt in some areas.
Of course.
But it helped me to define the direction for myself. But the one thing I can tell you is, and I'm telling you this because I know it.
Tell me.
The reason why I'm where I am now, in accordance to God's grace, is because I definitely did not do the bare minimum in any position I held. If there was one thing, and you remember this, now you're my wife.
I do.
We had people that I worked for that literally said, you're too good for what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you're making me look bad.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to let you go.
Right.
I'm setting records. What are you talking about?
I understand.
But the point is in that position, I was able to see in every position I was at, I needed to see myself as an entity.
Come on.
I had to grow.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I love that because it really speaks to the fact that you did things with excellence and integrity. There are a lot of people, I would even say that post-COVID, a lot of people in business, in their positions, have declined in performance because lack of motivation, lack of vision. Yeah. And it's so sad because just because a pandemic hits or life shifts,
Sure.
Maybe you're in fear for your job being lost. Like that's happening a lot.
Yeah.
A lot right now in the business culture. And the problem with that is, what does that have to do with the vision for your life, though?
For your
Because
life.
just because you're in the position of work, just because you're in a position of employment, does not mean that is your end all be all. You should have a vision that's continuing, whether you get let go of, whether you get a promotion, whether you get a raise. You have to be so fixated on, I have to do this for my life, for my legacy, no matter who's in control. And you have to understand that it begins with your mindset. Your mindset was, I'm going to outwork myself.
I used to always say that. In fact, when I would get hired, one of the things I would even tell them is that when you bring me in, I want to let you know what you're going to get.
Come on.
I'm going to take this to the highest level.
And that speaks to your athletic background
of
performance.
Yeah.
You were groomed.
I was groomed to perform.
That was the culture.
And overperform.
Yeah,
that's right.
So that you can be the best.
But the thing was I wasn't doing it to impress my employer.
Right.
I had it within myself that I was determined to be the best.
Right.
And then I grew up in a home. My father was a military man, right? My family, I have military people all across. I have a command sergeant major, one of the highest ranking officials in the Army in my family.
Wow.
We were taught and groomed to be excellent.
Come on.
And we live in a culture, I dare, I want to give this the proper respect, but we live in a culture where Black people, and this is true, we feel sometimes we have to overperform because there's a lot of pressure on us. And every time we feel like there's a mistake made, sometimes it becomes the detriment to where we're trying to go.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll see that. We feel like we have to do more than what's necessary. But that was just who I am. I thought if I gave more, if I overperformed, if I over-delivered, if I promised and then over-delivered, that would set me up for success in the eyes of my peers. But I didn't recognize that was sometimes creating the target and the disdain and the dislike, even though face value, I was really connecting well with them.
Yeah.
But all that to say, I know that you're like, okay, I'm on the hinges now. You need to have a vision for your position.
That's right.
Because you can't guarantee it. There's no job security anymore.
Clearly not.
We have AI. We have all types of things. Things are taking positions.
Man.
People are jumping in positions.
Yeah.
Some people are jumping in positions and they're qualified. The point of the matter is if you don't see the job you have as your business, your baby, then you're going to be, unfortunately, succumbing to quiet quitting.
That's really sad. And before, one of our C-suite executives was let go of a major company, we were having the discussion about what next. But even before what next, I think the reality has to be that everything will end. We are not the author of time. So understanding that whether you're in a season, whether it's an increment of time, whether you feel like you're going to be in this forever, you won't.
Yeah.
You really won't. And hopefully sometimes you don't want to be in it
right.
forever.
You should have aspirations.
Exactly.
Aspire higher.
But the problem is when you lock in and hone in on your vision and you're so close-minded that you don't receive the time to process, okay, if this were to end today, I need a plan.
Yeah.
I need a vision that's going to run with me. I need something that's going to call my name at the end of the tunnel and say, hey, I'm right here. Help me. Go forth with this, And I think the moment we change our mindset, frame our mentality with perspective and vision and start writing down, because vision is good.
Absolutely.
We need to write too.
You have to write it. Habakkuk, right? Write the vision, make it plain.
That's right.
So that he or she who sees it can run with it.
Come on.
And I think that's the first thing we want to make sure.
Correct.
If you are working a job, if you are an athlete right now on a team, you need to see beyond your position.
Yes.
You have to identify where you would like to go.
Yes.
It may or may not be with the company or the team that you're on.
Yeah.
Trades happen all the time.
All the time.
People get into the transfer portal in college. People leave jobs and positions, but it should be a part of the plan that you set for yourself.
Right.
Even if it doesn't work out perfectly, you have a vision for your position.
And I want to speak to that really quick because someone very close to me, my own brother, NFL former athlete.
Yeah.
Vision for your position is critical when injury happens. Not only when you get injured, not only when you get let go of, but it's very important to see yourself in the new narrative. How do I want to view myself now that my identity that feels like it's over has shifted? It's all a pivot in life. The moment we start locking in on identity and holding it so tightly and thinking this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life, this is who I am, you be careful when there's a hurdle in your way. But be careful also when sometimes you may not be all that you need to be within that moment.
Sure.
So here's the thing. My brother pivoted. And from athletics, he found extreme success in the financial world. Extreme success. He's leading, he's coaching, he's enabling people to change and better their lives in their finances.
Yes.
And so when you think about that, to go from the field into business and maximize your potential, maximize and leverage your position, that's what it is to have a vision for your position outside of your identity and what you did.
But you know what sets him apart, and I hope our listeners are able to get this, is you have to see yourself as the CEO of your position. That right there would shift that bare minimum mentality.
That's right.
What I mean is I don't care if you are the lowest person on the totem pole.
Right.
I don't care if you're riding the bench.
Right.
I don't care if you're an intern.
Yeah.
In that position, you're the boss.
Yeah.
You are the boss of how you conclude and how you go about your day, how you conduct your business,
That's
how
true.
you entertain, how you communicate. You have to see yourself as an entity. We spoke a little bit about this with our last guest, Tawana Smith. I'm going to say
shout out
doctor.
to her. That was
she
amazing.
crushed it. If you did not see that episode, please go back.
Or hear it.
Listen to it and
That's
watch
right.
it.
Yes.
But the point I'm making is you have to see yourself as the CEO of YOU.
Right.
If you're the CEO of YOU Incorporated, the question you need to ask yourself today is forget your employer, forget your coach.
Come on.
Would you hire or fire yourself?
Wow.
Based upon the performance and the things you are accomplishing and creating in the job you have now.
Wow. That's huge.
Because everyone gets so frustrated with what they have, not recognizing that everything they have is gold if they treat it as such.
That's right. That's right.
You have to start seeing it that way. So I know I spoke earlier, real quick, briefly, about some of the things I walked through, but I don't care if it led to my hurt, right? Because I had to develop, I had to grow. But I did see that I got better.
Right, of course.
I learned
you
some
had
things.
To. That's right.
I evolved.
Right.
I took some skills along with me for the next thing.
Right.
Built brands and businesses off of that.
Yeah.
You know, you got to put yourself in a position where you say, if I don't have this, I've chosen to maximize myself.
That's right. And wow. I've chosen to maximize myself.
Yeah.
I think sometimes with oneself, they don't see themselves as a CEO.
Well, of course.
Mental reframing has to be, and maybe it's something you'll try this week.
Please.
I see myself at my desk, at home, working remotely, wherever you are. I am the CEO of me.
Yeah.
I am going to perform with excellence.
Yes.
I'm going to deliver with integrity. If I said I was going to send an email, just send it. If I said I was going to send the communication text message, just send it.
Yeah.
I think indolence and lethargy have to be put to the side and kind of dissipated completely if you want to be successful.
Yeah.
And I also believe that when it's time for coach to put you in, meaning when it's time for a company to pick you up, when it's time for someone to reposition you, how would it look if you weren't ready?
Come on.
If you didn't condition yourself with the time that you've been given? It would be a disservice to you as the CEO of YOU.
And to them.
Huge disservice. And we are encouraging you to take a bigger step forward and give yourself vision. Number 2, make sure that you understand, do things with excellence. Just because no one's watching doesn't mean no one's watching.
That's the
Your inner
test
self
of
is
character.
watching you. It's
That's
taking
the greatest
notes.
of character.
Absolutely. It's absolutely. It's taking notes of, okay, I'm more lax today. Here's my pattern for the next 5 months, the next year. All of a sudden, when you do get rehired or you do get a new position, now that same lethargic way of approaching business has stunted you from excelling because of the habits and the patterns you've created.
Yeah.
But you can change that. I always say, if you're not dead, you can change it. That's the good part. Someone wants a new opportunity. And they have it because they're alive. They can take that vision, they could take the position they're in, and they could say, you know what, that's right. Whatever she's saying right now, I need to apply it.
Yeah.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
I might be underperforming because I am a quiet quitter. I need to change my perspective. I need to change my mindset. I want to envision myself and that is a great exercise. Start envisioning what you would look like as a CEO of YOU.
Yeah.
What does that look? What does she look like? What does he look like? What do they sound like? Is their professionalism taking is it taking a pinnacle approach? Is it looking like I'm more relaxed and chill? Whatever it is, you have to understand that your vision is going to run for you.
Yeah.
So make sure that you take ownership and accountability of the time that you have now, because it literally could be setting you up for success.
And you said something in there. Mm-hmm. The most important thing there is changing the mindset. So somebody's going to ask, how do I do that?
Okay.
Well,
let's talk about it.
We talked about in our book, Minding Your Business,
yes,
right? There's an Anthony O'Neill story we shared in our last podcast, but it's true. It's just as relevant to this point. Anthony O'Neill was talking about how his friend told him to mind his business, and ultimately he was telling him, no, your mind is your business.
Right.
All this that we're talking about right now, it's in between our ears. It's in our head. How we see our employer, how we see ourselves, how we see the position.
Correct.
Right? You know, the same job people pray for, they get it, and now they're not grateful for it.
Happens a lot.
They're not performing well when they have it.
Right.
It's one thing if you're performing to the max and it doesn't work out.
Right.
You know, I understand the little grievance.
Right.
But when you stop performing, you're stifling yourself. Forget the company. You aren't growing. You have to mind your business.
And with that, I can't say that I have never done that.
And in our book, we reference, just to kind of hone in on this point, and my wife asked me to read this to you and share it, but this is in our book and it's on page 130. And it says, keep your mind on your business. Your mind is your business. Even if you're currently under supervision that intentionally limits your capabilities or progress, mind your business. Wow. Even if there is a strategic process designed to keep you exactly where you are. As CEO of YOU, have a plan for yourself.
Yes.
Commit to it.
Yes.
And know that the goal is propelling you forward. You can't control your boss.
Yeah.
You can't control your coach or anyone else in positions of authority, but you can remain in control of your spiritual authority. And that is the authority and the one that your life will be weighed on and waged on. It is also the authority that war will be waged on upon you as you seek to remove or push your limits. Essentially what we're saying is you've got to see the deeper meaning behind what you're doing and then establish your walk from that position. Everyone focuses on the job.
Yes.
But who are you becoming?
Come on.
Who are you at the deepest level of your core?
The core, exactly.
Are you benefiting yourself as a soul, as a person, as an entity?
Right.
Or are you limiting yourself based upon the limitations that you're perceiving in your mind and making that your business?
Now, we do have discussions about limiters.
Yeah.
If you have not gotten this book yet,
I'm telling you,
please grab your copy. It is called The Flight of Your Life, The Power of Propulsion. This is what he just read from.
Yeah.
And we like to take this podcast also to guide you through what we've written, expound upon it, and give you more clarity as you listen. So please grab a copy. It's available Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, anywhere books are sold. I got you. But that was fantastic. Wow. Yeah. Thank you for providing that snippet, which will give someone courage. Sure. It will give someone even the angst to just do better.
Yeah, man.
Do better for themselves.
Vision for your position.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
All right. So tell the audience where they can find you, Charles.
Of course. Said it earlier in the show, Charles L. Bailey, Jr. on Instagram. You can, of course, find us at aspirehigherlife.com. We would love for you, if you like this podcast, share your thoughts, share your experiences. Some of you may have even gone through some of the things that I talked about earlier, some of the things my wife has expressed. Some of you may be wondering, I don't have a vision from a position. How do I do that?
Yeah.
Send us a comment.
That's right.
Write us a message. We'd love to engage in conversation with you. And of course, if you happen to have a company and you see your employees or your team and you're like, they don't have the motivation, they don't have the inspiration, and you need someone that can come in and speak to them on that level as a keynote speaker or to do a seminar or a session, bring us on. Yeah. This is what we do. We don't just keynote speak. We also teach people the principles of propulsion.
That's right.
All right?
Right. And you guys can find me at Yvana HB on Instagram, YVANA AHB. I would love to connect with you. And if this podcast is really changing your life, if it's helping you get perspective, please reach out to us, comment, like, share, do whatever you need to do, but we are here for you. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Oh yeah.